Water is New Mexico's most limited and valuable resource, which leads a lot of people to believe that gardens like this, which are very water intensive, have no place in our state. But imagine for a moment that you could have a garden like this in the middle of the city of Albuquerque and have absolutely no, using absolutely no white water whatsoever to water it. My company, SLH Design, has solutions to problems like this and many other problems facing modern Americans. Current building practices and living standards are very wasteful. The average American throws away 6 pounds of garbage, uses 30 kilowatts of electricity and 90 gallons of water every single day. This amounts to 2,200 pounds of garbage, 11,000 kilowatt hours of energy, and 30,000 gallons of water per year. Not all of this needs to be wasted, but current building practices and designs are not intended to conserve. This is where SLH Design is different. These days, most people would like to do their parts to conserve, but recycling and composting are pretty time and energy intensive, and a lot of people don't feel that they have the time and the energy to do these things. My building plan minimizes the energy and thought that goes into conservation on a day-to-day basis. What this slide is supposed to be but is not, my floor plan for my building. The core feature of the building is a trash chute that goes down the center of the building. So in every single kitchen, there's a specific chute for composting, recycling, and garbage. So the only energy that any tenant has to expend is simply to sort their garbage into 3 different chutes that are right in the wall of their kitchen. Additionally, all electricity in the building will be provided by solar panels. This greatly reduces the carbon footprint of the building. The walls of the building are completely lined with windows. This allows a lot of light in, and it reduces the amount of electricity needed for lighting. All windows are also energy efficient, which means that they keep heat out in the summer, reducing cooling costs, and keep heat in the winter, which reduces heating costs. All appliances and water fixtures are low flow. This means that water consumption will be greatly reduced. And all gardens will be fertilized only with compost that comes from the tenants. This means that there will be less water pollution due to fertilizer runoff. All paint and concrete will be photocatalytic, which will convert harmful gases in the environment into inert compounds, which will improve air quality and will improve tenants' respiratory health. In this graph, the top graph shows just the basic sources of water and how much is currently used, the dark line on the far side, how much my building would use per person, what the savings are. And you can see that there's a considerable amount of water that could be saved just by using low flow water appliances and water fixtures. At the bottom, there's just sources of pollution and waste. You can see that whereas people use 70 gallons of water per day in a normal household, with my building they would only be using on average 45. 38 gallons of which can be reused to water the garden. That's a 77% saving. Garbage can be reduced from 2,000 pounds a year to 140 pounds a year because 93% of what we throw away is reusable. Electricity would go from 800 kilowatt hours to 0 using solar panels. And air pollution, 25 to 40% of harmful NOx gases can be completely eliminated. So to make this apartment building a reality, I need you to invest in SLH Design to make conservation a way of life for healthier tenants and a healthier planet. Thank you.
Were you you going to include any kind of like growing, like on the roof or gardens or something in that also?
Yes, they're also, I wish that I had the floor plan to show you, but around the edge, there is space for gardening on the roof. However, the roof gardens, you couldn't use recycled water, so that would all have to be white water, just because you wouldn't want like a collection of like reused water where it could leak down into people's apartments. Yeah.
I have never heard of that fee before.
It's-
How much does it cost? Oh.
It's fairly new. They've just started, they've just come up with it. It's the cost, I think, the only company that I found that sells it is in Britain, and I think for 5 liters it was like between like 50 to 100 pounds, depending on like, they had like, depending on whether it's for outside or inside. The inside paint was a little bit more expensive for whatever reason.